it would give you a number to call. That number would then go to one of the facilities I had a contract with, that I trusted, that I knew would help the person out to the best of my knowledge at that time. And they would pay me a flat fee. So I would know in the beginning of the month, I'm 100% going to get this amount of money, nothing more, nothing less. And that avoided the whole patient brokering thing. It avoided me having to get involved with these treatment marketers. And you know, I was making money for these facilities, and I felt good that I was getting people into treatment. But the business partner at that time, his name was Christopher Ferry.
Chris Ferry, him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this guy I had a contract with another facility called Holistics by the Sea, which I think exists still, but I wasn't really a part of that really. He was an owner of that facility at one point, or his family was, or some degree. I'm not sure the actual specifics on it, but I know he had something to do with it because I had a contract with them, and it was a flat fee that they would pay me every month. And Chris, he's an intelligent guy, so he sends me a text message or no, it was a text message. I didn't answer, and then he FaceTimes me, and I'm in Pennsylvania at this time, and he knows I'm doing well. I'm killing it with the treatment marketing ads, and he's like, hey, you won't come to Florida right now, like just joking with me on FaceTime. 3 hours later, I'm on a plane. I call him when I'm at the Fort Lauderdale airport, and I'm like, hey man, I'm here. And he drives to the Fort Lauderdale airport, picks me up. I stayed with him for 3 months at his house, and we became very close with each other. I flew back to Pennsylvania. I got all my stuff in a U-Haul. I packed up my car on a trailer. I drove to Florida, and I never came back.
What year was that?
That would have been 9 years ago.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So at that point, I lived with him for a little bit he sold his shares in Holistics. I believe he sold his shares. I'm not sure how that whole process worked. That you'd have to ask him that. But I know that when we got involved with Boca Recovery Center together, we were in it together. It was just us. We didn't have any. We had a small equity owner, but that was for just logistics. And
did you guys both sell it? So now you've sold the business.
He's still he's the CEO and founder, or
I
just
saw
the
his
founder
picture
now.
on the site. Yeah.
Yeah. He's still around, still going hard. He actually opened a 4th facility now. But yeah, I sold it a couple years back now, and there's a cool story with that as well, which I keep skipping the main point. But the cool story with how I ended up doing what I'm doing now. Is there's the electronic medical record platform ZenCharts, which the site's gone now, but if you Google it, you'll find out, you'll see the logo for it. Yeah, the website just went down, so maybe the LinkedIn. Yeah, okay, so I can explain what ZenCharts is. But so ZenCharts is a medical record platform. Like if you go to your doctor and they ask you a bunch of questions, you see them typing in notes on the medical record. It's exactly that, just for mental health and substance use facilities.
Got it.
So I happened to use ZenCharts at Boca Recovery Center at the time, and the owner's actually sitting out in your green room. But
really,
yeah. So the owner at that time, so they came to come train my clinicians on how to use ZenCharts, and I'm sitting in the room with them, and they thought that I was an employee of the facility because I was like 22 years old or something, 23 at the most. And once they found out I was the owner, we talked and we got along well, but I didn't really know them that well. And the guy that's sitting out in your green room right now would be even interesting to ask his opinion on it. But he paid $40,000 for a penetration test, which is just paying a group to try to hack your company and give you a report on what's vulnerable. He just did that prior to doing the training for my rehab. And I said, do you mind if I take a look around? Like, just trying to get permission because I don't want to get in trouble or break the law or anything like that. So he says yes, and he says it like cockily, in a cocky way, like he's like, I'm not going to...
What can you do about it?
Right. So he gets in his car, and before he even gets back to the ZenCharts office, my face was on support.zencharts.com. It was just my face. My company is pentester.com.
Yeah.
Right? And when we're trying to sell our manual pen test, he brings up that story because even if you spend $40,000 for the best of the best, if they're doing that, in his case, it was the checkbox approach. it's sometimes not enough. Like what we do outside of, like, I'm not trying to promote my company. I just want to explain, this is relevant to everything else we're going to talk about. What we do is we try to emulate what the adversaries would do. We try to emulate what an attacker would do, not just check off this box, that one, and that one, and that one, and skip all of the rest. We try to do that. So Rick uses that story, Rick Glasser, who was one of the owners of ZenCharts, when trying to make sales for a pen tester.
So I just looked at the article, USA Today, National Public Data confirms massive data breach included Social Security numbers. And you guys are, I believe, quoted in here in this article with USA Today about what pen tester does. So talk about Social Security. So we had all these Social Security numbers being, leaked. And it says Social Security numbers, names, addresses, email addresses, phone numbers were in the 2.9 billion records within a data breach. Security firm pen tester tool tells you if your data is involved or not. So
yes,
to the average person, what does pen tester do?
So in this case, we did something we did something different. So almost every single article is going to be referencing that site, npd.pentester.com, which stands for National Public Data. So what we did is we were able to access a list that was for sale for $3.5 million in April. And a hacking group took it from a company called National Public Data, which is a crazy story. Do you know anything about this? So the person that was running that website is, I think his name's Salvador, but he was a Florida sheriff. You can look him up. And he somehow, some way,